All right, so before I started this video, I was looking for kind of the inspiration behind this video, which was a social media post by Jay Shetty that I saw. But the first thing that popped up, and I'm leaning into the more kind of energetics and following signs and just, I don't know, seeing the world as there's signs out there and we should just follow it. And so this was the first kind of, when I opened up my Instagram, this is the first thing that popped up. And so I feel like somebody is going to watch this video and is going to need this message. So it's by Koya Webb. And it's this whole thing of, it's not your job to be responsible for other people's happiness. It's not your job to be preoccupied with unhealthy beauty standards to be approved or validated. It's not your job to ignore or diminish your own boundaries to please others. It's not your job to try to fix other people's issues and solve every problem. It's not your job to make yourself smaller to try to appease people who don't like you as you are. It's not your job to be physically and emotionally available 24/7. Again, totally not what I was going to talk about, but I just want to, there's a reason why that popped up. And if anything like that resonated, for sure, if you're on Instagram, go follow Koya Webb. She's this really cool, she's big in yoga and spirituality and just kind of the chakras, and she's a really, really inspiring and just a positive influence. Like every time I go on her page, I just feel more aligned into my own body and to my own kind of sense of empowerment and kind of guidance, and she's just a really good, inspiring person to be around. And you know me, I'm all about the energetics of what you're bringing in terms of your own radiance in your own life and living into who you are supposed to be aligned to and enlivened into and embodied for. But otherwise, what I was looking for, and now let me show it. I wasn't as prepared to start with this, but it was a really funny post by Jay Shetty. And it was, friends that understand your antisocial phases and don't take them personally are important. I don't know if you can see that. I laughed because I definitely have, my best friends, they know that. They know that to a T. My partner Ryan, he knows that as well. Like there are some times that I just need to go in and I can't be with people. Like I can't interact with people. I'm the type of person, I'm very outgoing and social. And I love being part of, like, in a group with people. My human design sign, it's a 5-1. So 5 being like, I'm very, very social. I'm just an attractor. Like people, I love being by people. But the 1 is I'm a little bit of a hermit too. I don't think it's exactly a hermit. I'm a little bit new to human design, but it is, I need to kind of, I re-energize by being very like in my own mind, in my own space, in like just silence. A lot of the times that I'll just be driving in the car and just no music whatsoever, just because I need that time to allow myself to kind of be inspired by my own thoughts, be inspired and manifest things that are kind of coming in my own head. And so I wanted to, so these are things that I've been leaning into, a lot of kind of the energetics around who we're being and what lights us up, and things that I think are, it just kind of hit me the other day of just, this is the missing piece in the health and wellness kind of scope of body confidence, of just confidence in general with women. This is the missing piece. I really believe it's that kind of energetics, that spirituality aspect, that just faith aspect, that just alignment aspect, just whatever kind of terminology. These are all kind of, they're not all interchangeable terminologies, but like kind of in the same sphere of just realigning back into how you feel radiant. A lot of the times women, they come to me and they're like, I want to lose weight. And that's what it lights me up to be in that kind of industry, because I know what is like the reason why they want to lose weight is they've been social, cultural, like kind of, that's not the right term, but they've been kind of molded into feeling and understanding that their appearance equals how they feel and their confidence levels, and like that's what's going to give them happiness. And I get that to a degree, but there is so much more that goes into just kind of like the deeper inner personal development work, where it's, okay, how do I align my own femininity, my own radiance, my own kind of sense of what lights me up, really like truly deep inside? And once we kind of bring that up, focus on that, focus kind of getting back into alignment with our own bodies and our own sense of self and our own sense of self-worth, that's when I've seen miracles happen with women. Because I was starting to see like some of my clients were seeing amazing results, amazing, just kind of like things were effortlessly happening. Things were like miracles were happening for them, where things were just lining up and almost just like they were attracting the type of health and the radiance that they wanted to. And the other women, they were stuck. They were stuck and they were doing all the things and they were just like not seeing anything move. And I was taking a very kind of a normal approach to it. Not a normal, but just like a standard approach of, okay, maybe we need to change your diet. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe there's a little bit, maybe you're not working out hard enough, or you don't have enough, like very kind of more of that masculine of, okay, if something's not working, let's try something else and repivot. And there's truth to that. There for sure is truth. There's scientific, like everything that's kind of going on in our biology and the things that we're eating and the stress that we're inducing. There's truth to that. That if you're not seeing the results in your body, we can pivot in terms of what you're eating. We can pivot in terms of kind of how much exercise you're doing. We can pivot in terms of, okay, what's the stress that you're going through? But there's another aspect too, and I don't think I was leaning in to it with those women as much because there was a little bit of resistance, both on my end and on their end too. And this is kind of where I know stress is a huge factor that is like almost the number one kind of roadblock to seeing the weight. It's stress. And so it's kind of learning how to de-stress, kind of detach, because on a scientific level, on a biology level, like when we are stressed out, our body is put in a fight and flight mode. And when we're in the fight and flight mode, anything that we eat is going to be kind of, our body's going to hold on to it because it's like, shoot, like I'm in danger right now, so I need that energy. I need those sugars. I need that, and I'm going to store it away as fat because I'm going to need that at some time because I'm in that fight or flight mode. And a lot of the times we are constantly in stress. And so I knew that aspect of it, but there's meditation, there's breath work that we can start to do. But I think like we need to start leaning into it a lot more of just kind of the energetics behind, okay, how do we feel in alignment with us? And so, and coming into peace with our own radiance and our own kind of empowerment, where stress is always going to be there. Certain diets are always going to be there. Food is always going to be there. You're always going to be constantly leveling up. But if you're not seeing the results that you want, or if it's feeling really, really hard, don't push more. This is a lesson that I'm still being reminded of by the universe every single day. Don't push harder when things aren't working out. Go inwards. Go into, okay, what is this telling me? If I'm having kind of fear and anxiety pop up, or if I'm doubting myself, or if things I'm trying everything and things aren't working, go deeper into yourself. Lean into the energetics of, okay, because we're go all the time. And so it's leaning into these tactics of tapping, of releasing tension in our body through kind of tapping on our body. It's meditation. It's slowing down to speed up. It's coming into our own body as well, of just having appreciation and gratitude for our own body, our own lives, and utilizing practices around gratitude, appreciation, and the physical sensations too of our own body. Because I just had a mentor of mine talking about how a lot of the times when we are struggling with weight, there's a detachment that we have with our own body. There's an detachment where we really don't have a relationship with our own body. And so it's utilizing these kind of And I had a client who, when I was talking to this with her, she was like, this is woo-woo stuff, Katy. And I get that. I get that. But it's utilizing, okay, there's certain aspects of where we can get more in tune with what really lights us up. And when we're more in tune with what lights us up, with where we're being guided, with where we're being kind of, when we're lowering our levels of stress, which a lot of these practices will do that. These practices will kind of show you exactly what is the right next step for you when you slow down and you listen to your inner guidance. And it also lowers your stress levels. And when we're lowering our stress levels, we kind of allow our body to work as it should be. We align our body with kind of the hormones that are going through our bodies, making sure that those are working properly. We're putting ourselves into the rest and digest system. And so that's when we're able to actually kind of eat the foods and have them properly digest in our body and get those nutrients that we know are really good for us. It's where we kind of take our gut and our gut's not out of whack anymore. And we kind of reset all of that. And it's when we're allowing our body to not be in that fight or flight mode, which shuts off our body's ability to kind of reach in and burn off. If you're working out all the time, if you're kind of eating in a lower calorie density and you're not seeing the weight come off, if you let that stress, if you realign back into your body, then we're allowing our body to actually kind of get that stored energy out of where we're storing it as fat, versus if we're kind of always chronically stressed out or go, we're kind of, our body will initially take it all from it's the sugars that's in our body too, that will always go forward no matter what, but also too, sometimes our bodies will take our energy away from our muscles. And it's, I can't remember the term, it's metabolic, muscle catabolic effect. That's a huge thing with stress. And so this is just moving forward. We're going to be leaning a lot more into aligning our bodies with what our bodies are telling us and listening to our bodies and reconnecting that when you feel dissatisfied in your body, there's a disassociation that comes from it. We're like physically outside of our body. We're not one with our body. We're not aligned with our body. And so we're not utilizing our womanly power to the maximum that we possibly can. And so moving forward, that's what we're going to start doing. And so that was going, I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent. It's kind of this, again, going right back to the quote of, friends that understand your antisocial phases and don't take them personally are important. And it's listening to your body and listening to your body type to understand there are certain times when you feel more motivated, more empowered to do certain aspects. And one really, really great, holy crap, every single woman should be reading this book, In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti. She talks about how we as women, we're not listening to what our bodies are telling us to do. When you feel in the 24 hours that you have, if things are hard, if you're struggling to show up, if you're struggling to kind of have the energy or to do the things that you say you're like trying to do every single day, whether or not that's working out the same way every single day, eating the same way every single day, or being as productive and stress-free or managing that stress the same way every single day. Sorry to give it to you, sister, but that's not how our bodies work. At least for women that aren't on hormonal birth control, that kind of allow their hormones to work for them. If you're on hormonal birth control, this might not be as applicable for you, just because you're taking medication that's regulating your hormones. I take hormonal birth control. I'm actually in the process of getting off of it after I read this book and after I kind of realized I wasn't letting my own body kind of work the way that it should be and working for me, not against me, not pushing harder. So we, right now, a lot of the times we are working in, this is going to sound very, very feminine, very, very anti-man. It's not at all, but we are working in kind of the cycle of men's hormonal cycles. So let me find the page for you. So there is a really really interesting chapter. Again, this is not about like women being better or men being like putting us into a system of just a great, like, no, it's not. This is just kind of an eye-opening aspect of how we as women are trying to push ourselves into men's world, playing in the boys club. And I know a lot of you guys feel that and know that. And because think about this. So we're just looking at the different kind of our women's hormone cycles and men hormone cycles. And so this is the male 24-hour hormonal cycle. So they are just every single 24 hours, their hormones are cycling the exact same way. So in the morning, testosterone and cortisol levels are at their highest when he wakes up, making him energetic, communicative, laser focused, ready for sex, and super efficient at getting stuff done. In the afternoon, declining testosterone puts him in the mood to socialize and connect with people. So this is when he wants to pitch ideas to clients, network with colleagues, and meet up for a date. And then in the evening, testosterone levels wane, making him more sensitive to his estrogen and generally more interested in cocooning on the couch or finding other ways to quiet his mind. So notice anything interesting of just how a lot of the times the way that men kind of cycle throughout their day, there's a huge correlation with how our normal workday looks like. So we start our mornings with morning meetings. We start looking at emails because for men, they are waking up and immediately they're like, go, go, go. I have energy. I have things to do. I want to be communicative. I want to be laser focused on projects. So that's like we wake up and we do those. And then in the afternoon, that's when we're kind of looking at our to-do list. We go out and we start networking. We're going and doing group meetings later on. And that's also when happy hour is, because again, that's when men are more likely to want to communicate with other people. And then at the end of the day, the evening, that's when we want to rest and rejuvenate and kind of relax a little bit. So it really goes like, again, this was just a little bit more eye-opening for me of men function the same way every single day, but we don't. I know so many of you have kind of gone through life where you're like, why is this week so much harder than the week before? Why did I have so much more productivity and laser focus than the week before? It's because that's just how our body works. And so for women, men go through a 24-hour cycle of the same hormones going through. We as women go through a 28-day cycle. And so again, going back to that post, there may be times where you don't feel like being social. And it might just be kind of part of your body. Leaning into what does it mean to be a woman and listening to your hormones. That's a huge thing that I'm on a journey to do. Because think of it, so again, the male, 24-hour cycle, they can do the same thing every single day. Every single day, we are not like that. Again, this might not be applicable if you are on hormones, hormonal birth control. But if you're off of it, or if you're on a copper IUD, or if you're using different types of, again, non-hormonal birth control, you have different phases in your 28-day. We have a 28-day cycle. You have different phases where you're going to be more outgoing, where you're going to be more productive on certain things. And so let me just kind of, again, this is all from such a good book, In the Flow by Alyssa VT. So phase 1 is our follicular phase. So this is right after our menstruation, follicular phase. And this is a time when our estrogens are rising and we are so creative. This is when we're going to want to do our brainstorming sessions, when we're kind of looking to the future, or when we're going to want to plan. That's when our creative juices are really, really flowing. And then we go into ovulation. And so this is when estrogen is at the highest point, and when we are really wanting to shine and be communicative, going on dates, networking, being really collaborative with people when we're ovulating. And then we go into the luteal phase. And this is when our progesterone is at its highest point as well. And so this is when we're really focusing on more task work. Like, have you ever kind of just been in a week of working and you're like, I'm getting everything done? Might have been when you're in the luteal phase. And then we go into the menstruation phase. And so this is when all of our hormones are at the lowest point. And so this is when we're really supposed to more so evaluate and kind of get more in tune with us. So again, this was something that I've definitely experienced before, where it's like, okay, because I think the luteal phase and the menstruation phase, that was the hardest for me to kind of really understand, because 1 week, I am killing it. And actually kind of more so for 2 weeks, because the luteal phase is a little bit longer. It lasts for about 10 to 14 days. Crushing it, getting everything done, go, go, go. I'm like, I am rocking my world right now. And then my period comes and I'm like, why is it so hard to do everything? I have zero energy, zero want, zero desire to like do all the workouts that I want to do, to meal prep the way that I want to be meal prepping, to cook, to like, and my cravings would come up, like all this stuff. And so this is just where, again, I feel like us as women, we're like, oh, I just don't want to do this. Or you feel really inspired. But a lot of the times we commiserate with each other because we don't want to do things and we're low in energy. And just knowing that this is just a cycle that we go through and we're like, well, we're in the same boat. Like, this sucks being a woman. It's so hard. It's time to switch to the flip the switch and lean into what our bodies are telling us. And lean into, when you are menstruating, to be more in tune with yourself, to reflect on how your last month went. Because it is during that phase when all of our hormones are at its lowest peak, that's when both sides of our brain, we're connecting way more this time. We're really, really in tune. That's why they say the woman's gut is like so dang powerful, because we're so in tuned at this time. So get more in tune with yourself. Don't put yourself off on not like showing up as the mom that you want to be, or being as vocal in certain times in the month. Like, don't pressure yourself to do something. Work with your own hormones as a woman. This is something that I'm going to start to incorporate again into my own cycle, my own hormones, my own kind of womanly body. And I hope you do as well. I'm going to kind of start educating my clients on it. And this, again, I know this is a little bit of a rant, but it's just this whole concept of your health, your body confidence, your radiancy that you say that you want. It doesn't have to be so strategic. It's about 20% of what you're doing. 80% is who are you being. And so that goes into leaning into who are you? Finding clarity in that. And then also, again, kind of clarity in you are your own feminine kind of being. Listen to that. Let the science, let your hormones work for you in a way that's different. Because if things have been hard, if you feel like you've been pushing up a hill, all like struggling to get things done, struggling to work out, struggling to show up every single day, it's just, you're not meant to. From the science point, you're not meant to be creative and outgoing every single day. But you're also like, you're meant for more than that. And so lean into that.